I'm very excited to finally begin this channel. It's something that's been on my mind for many years. It started as an idea for a book, but YouTube has changed everything. It's truly amazing to have so much knowledge available to anyone, anywhere, at any time. It's an incredible time to be alive. I've always been a person who had to know how things work. I've never been satisfied with surface knowledge. I am wired to dig deep and do my homework. It's who I am. It's taken me a very long time to sort out the ideas that shape our world. Religion, philosophy, science, politics, and economics have all been critical in making our world. Psychology and wisdom have also played a huge role. History is another critically important shaper of life. As we seek understanding, we realize how deeply interconnected they all are. I want to help you to see the big picture. I want to wrestle with the really important questions, the foundational ideas that created our world. I want this channel to serve as an introduction to a thoughtful life. I have many more videos to make. We spend a lot of our time arguing about the smaller details, so much so that in the chaos of heated debate, the large issues are overlooked. It's like we have sand in the gears. The big, powerful gears are being cluttered with sand. We are missing the great ideas that make our life possible. I will link a short video below, just 3 minutes, well worth your time. The example has to do with our priorities. A jar is filled with golf balls, then pebbles, then sand, then beer. The big golf balls must go in first. They must have priority. They will never fit in the jar if the small things go in first. Just like our individual lives, society can lose its way when we make the small things the priority and forget the most critical foundational things. Picture a frothy ocean surface with waves crashing and foaming. Does this represent the ocean or ocean life in any meaningful way? No, it does not. The life of the ocean is in the depths. Under the noisy surface is the real ocean. The important things are not the noisy ones. They are not the sand in the gears. They are the gears themselves that drive civilization. Those are the things we will focus on. We have to declutter our minds and get back to basics. This channel exists to help you make sense of a complex world. The purpose is in the title itself, Understanding Your World. I want to help you understand your own mind. Why do you think what you think? Only when we understand ourselves can we then begin to understand others. Only after we have tested our own thinking will we be able to assess the world with a more accurate picture. We all see the world through our own filter. Imagine that. 7 billion people who inconveniently don't think identical to you. The world is so filled with information, it's overwhelming. How can we know what's true? We often see very intelligent people in passionate opposition. How can that be? It's easy how it tends to work out. The one I agree with is so smart, and the one I disagree with is obviously stupid. That's a convenient way to think, but it's really very weak. The only way to get to the truth is to hear all sides of an argument. Along the way, we have to exercise some critical thinking as we analyze good arguments and weak arguments. Most people are just as smart as you. Disagreements don't come from a lack of intelligence. They come from opposing worldviews. We are often talking past each other and not really listening. We do not understand one another. How can they be so stupid? Why can't they understand this? The issue is we have an opposite worldview. We see things entirely different. To begin to understand this, we first need to see that our worldview is the big thing. It is the foundational giant in every one of us. You have been forming your worldview all of your life. So when we are arguing noisy things on the surface, we cannot come to any agreement because underneath all the hot air are the deep foundational things. The foundational giant in each of us is where the argument lies, not the tiny surface issue expressing itself. Worldview is primary. All of your thoughts flow from that foundation. The conclusion at the end is a tiny thing. The giant underneath makes the call. In our frothy world, we are not arguing about the important principles. Sadly, we are not arguing about them because they are largely forgotten. The reality is, most of us don't know what we believe or why we believe it. We have not challenged our own worldview. We have not dug deep enough to wrestle with the important things. We often take surface knowledge from an article, a soundbite, a stereotype, or an emotional feeling, and it makes sense to us, or largely information from someone we trust, usually someone in the media. Combining all of that just makes sense. It fits our worldview, mostly because we don't even really know what our core beliefs are. Often we are holding on to unexamined, contradictory ideas. To become a better thinker, you have to determine that truth is the most important issue. You have to be willing to face what is true, whether you like it or not. You have to be willing to test your mind and expose yourself to critical judgment. Nobody can do this for you. As you wrestle with the big ideas, you will begin to finally really discover what you actually believe and why you believe it. You might be surprised at what you learn about yourself. I want you to challenge yourself to grow into a more serious thinker. Let's make Socrates proud and carry on the tradition of an examined life that is worth living. Every one of us, whether we like it or not, carries around with us a prevailing set of assumptions about life. All of your opinions and convictions flow from your worldview. Mostly, it's a mix of our personal experiences, both painful and good, along with how we think things work, or how we think they ought to work. All of our politics, economics, philosophy, and social constructs come from our worldview. The world, according to me, is my worldview. The task here at this channel is to expose the mind to its own worldview. Why do I think as I do? Why do I respond as I do? Worldview is primary. It is foundational to all of our thoughts and opinions. It comes first. Everything I think flows from it, no matter what issue we are talking about. My worldview colors all that I see. It shapes every thought, any data point I take in, any fact or non-fact that I accept or reject. All begins with my worldview. I must first expose it to the big ideas that drive it. Once I have thought through the big issues, then I can have a coherent worldview that actually makes sense and is not a jumbled mess of contradictory passions and confusions about reality. Smart people often will disagree, but if you have come to that position of disagreement with rational, clear thinking, then you, my friend, I am satisfied. My point is not agreement. It is that you take on the important things and come to a place of clarity. If we both wrestle with important things and reach different outcomes, then we can agree to disagree on how we see them. If we have both taken them on with honesty, we can respect our differences with grace and understanding. I am more interested in helping you to think than I am in your conclusions. Of course, I want to persuade you. I'm passionate about my worldview, but I am satisfied with any who come to a different place after they have examined the big issues. Only then will we really understand one another. At that point, we both have understood the giant inside the other person. Then we can see clearly why we are arguing about the smaller things. Sometimes we are arguing with people who do not understand themselves, let alone my worldview. The reason I understand them is I have wrestled with the big ideas and weighed each opposing view with the best people on opposite sides of various topics. So I understand where they are coming from, even if they don't understand their own reasons, and they certainly don't understand mine. The big ideas are the only place where understanding can really occur. Once you have accurately understood your world through the trial of critical thinking and wrestling with the important things, then you will be able to have a real worldview that can actually understand reality. Then you can understand the world, not just your world, and why good, intelligent people often differ. All of these big ideas have consequences for good or evil. They shape our world and have shaped it for centuries. All societies are governed by the ideas we will examine. This is why it is so important to understand them. I will uphold the good ideas that have created our freedom. The wisdom of America's founding principles. Our founders studied all the big ideas that mankind has ever tried. They were students of history and philosophy. They understood the Greeks and the Romans and inherited much of the ideas of law and civil society from England. They took all the best ideas and created something new, something that had never been, real freedom. As we strive to make America all that it can be, we must always hold true to its core ideals. Sometimes very dangerous ideas come along and sound good to those who are ignorant of history. Bad ideas can inflict terrible pain. Communism has cost at least 100 million deaths, along with countless suffering for those who lived. Bad ideas seem to continually pop up, mainly because people forget the treasure of the good ideas. We must always preserve and honor the ideas that make this country the land of the free and the home of the brave. I will always do all I can to love and defend this great country. I will end with a quote from the champion, Abraham Lincoln. If destruction be our lot, we must ourselves be its author and finisher. As a nation of free men, we must live through all time or die by suicide. Not on my watch. I'm going to do my best to break it down and help us all to think clearly. God bless you. Thank you.